Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's our last week before holiday break, Tony. Aren't you ready to give 110%?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Nope. ESPN 2 show. Nope.
Must be bowl season. We're relegated.
Yeah, I understand
season.
that. A
Yeah.
lot of people love to watch live bowl games.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm going
bet
to
on
one
them, they
later
like
this
them.
week. I'm going to
So there
attend
you go.
one.
There you go. I assume Northwestern is in it.
Yes, Las
'Cause I can't
Vegas
imagine
Bowl,
you go
baby. Hit the
Oh, good,
table,
Las Vegas.
stay up all night. Maybe not.
Good for you. Great atmosphere for your kid. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Ravens top the Jaguars. The Chiefs hand another loss to Bill Belichick. And Brock Purdy says Christian McCaffrey is the MVP. But we begin today with the Buffalo Bills at home yesterday, drilling the Cowboys 31-10. Josh Allen only threw for 94 yards because the Bills ran for 266 yards. They ran 49 times. They'd still be running if the game was still going on. Wilbon, what does this result say about the Bills and the Cowboys?
Well, Tony, the Bills did something they were supposed to do. They're supposed to win that game. I mean, all summer and into the fall, at least several weeks, we heard about the Bills, and they're supposed to be able to challenge Kansas City and finish even, if not ahead of Baltimore. And Bills. I mean, the Bills are supposed to be a team. They got a terrific
That's right.
quarterback. They got a complete team, or so we thought. They had some hiccups, and all of a sudden people just sort of dismissed them. I didn't dismiss them. They should win yesterday's game. And to me, this entire approach to their offensive philosophy of playing power football is better than throwing it all around the yard 40 times, which I don't understand Buffalo doing. So Buffalo did what they were supposed to. Everybody is going to dramatically and wildly overstate how this is the end of the Cowboys, as if they just didn't win 5 straight. They won 5 straight. They lost in Buffalo where they were supposed to lose. So that's what it says to me. The Cowboys get another week to sort of pull themselves back together. It wasn't single elimination yet, and Buffalo gets to rally a little bit, at least for now.
Let me just get one thing off my chest early. It was 31-3. There were 4 minutes left in the game, and Dak Prescott was out there passing.
Yes,
what are you doing?
what was
What
that?
in God's name is he doing on the field in those circumstances? All you can do is get hurt. That's crazy.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to overreact, and I don't want to overstate, but I'll say this. What does it tell me about the Cowboys? It tells me in any reasonable person they're not a good road team. They're 3-4 on the road. They're 7-0 at home. Mike, they score 18 fewer points a game on the road than they do at home.
Yeah.
So to me, if they don't beat Philadelphia in the division, then I don't see them as a long-term threat in the playoffs. And what does it say to me about Buffalo? I'm going to go back a couple of weeks, and I'm going to concede that they shouldn't have beaten the Chiefs, that touchdown that was called back would have beaten them.
Right.
But they did beat the Chiefs on the road in Kansas City, and then they beat Dallas convincingly at home. And so to me, Mike, if they can get in the playoffs, and they're not in the playoffs right now.
No, but they're
if they can get in the
Tough
playoffs,
out.
I don't think you necessarily want to face them. And Dallas's problem, this was a blueprint on how to beat Dallas. Their front 4, and in fact their whole front 7, got pushed around physically.
Football.
They got to change that. They got to change that.
Because, guess what? The Eagles can play that way, and the 49ers can play that way too. And so, that's something to keep an eye out for. But otherwise, it'll be overstated for the rest of the week about the Cowboys losing. The Ravens stayed atop the AFC. Lamar Jackson ran for 97 yards, passed for 171, including 26 after this impossible escape from a sack to lead the Ravens past the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Tony, what does this win say about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to you?
Well, first I'm going to tell you what it says to me about the Jacksonville Jaguars, that they are posers. Okay?
Yeah, they're not ready yet. They're not ready
You
yet.
circle the date on this game. This is a home game. You beat the Ravens at home. You're a real team. And instead they scored 7 points. I think the week before they lost to Cleveland, a team that doesn't score very much, with a second-string quarterback. Before that, they lost to Cincinnati, another team with a second-string quarterback. So they're sort of frauds. And all of the talk over the last 2 weeks about how they could be the AFC #1 seed, that's just nonsense, and I don't want to hear it. Now, in terms of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I will just talk briefly about the Ravens. They have a really good defense.
Yeah.
It may not be as star-filled as it was when they won championships, but it may be as good. They lead the NFL in points allowed, 16 points a game. They held the Jaguars to 7. They held the Lions to 6. They held the Seahawks to 3. They held the Browns to 3. And, Mike, that's how you win in this league.
Still, yes, it is, Tony. With that deep, when you've got that defense, and you mentioned first in points allowed, second in yards allowed, and you got Lamar Jackson, and by the way, Lamar Jackson wasn't seen on the field in the last 2 Decembers because he was injured. And he's aware of it.
That's
he
right.
talked, very persuasively to me in his post-game remarks about being able to play in December and being himself. And he looked like both those things yesterday, very healthy and like himself. So if Lamar Jackson can be kept upright, all right, and that offense can play power football too. And you have that defense keeping you in check, keeping everybody in check, keeping playoff teams that you just listed in check. Then Baltimore, to me, not Kansas City, Baltimore,
Right.
to me, is the number 1 seed, the primary threat in the AFC right now. That's how I feel about them, Tony. And Jacksonville, look, I'm not going to dog them. It's not their time yet. It could have been if they cashed in with 2 of those victories. But, Tony, I didn't think they would or should win those games. Jacksonville's a year away. They'll seem to get themselves together. They're well coached. I still like their quarterback. I like a lot of what Jacksonville's going on. They're not Baltimore, not yet.
I'm going to point out one thing to you, and I know what you're saying vis-a-vis the Chiefs. But Lamar Jackson, who was a wizard on the field.
Yes.
And he's not only healthy, he's happy because his contract is behind him.
That too.
But he's been terrible in the playoffs, Mike.
Okay.
He's 1
Here's
and 3
another
in the
one.
playoffs with 3 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions and 2 lost fumbles. Now, greatness shows itself eventually.
Yep.
But he hasn't been like the Chiefs guy in the playoffs. He has not. After the 49ers handily beat Arizona yesterday, 45-29, 49er quarterback Brock Purdy said Christian McCaffrey should be the MVP. McCaffrey had 115 yards rushing and a touchdown, 72 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. He has 20 touchdowns this season. That's tied for number 1 in the league. Wilbon, are you with Purdy?
Not exactly, Tony. Look, McCaffrey's great. All right, he's got a coach who knows what to do with him. So all these morons around the league, and some of them coaching in it, who want to tell you running backs, they don't need them. Running backs are passé. Why would you want a running back? Maybe if you know how to use one, all right? Christian McCaffrey is used well by Coach Shanahan in San Francisco. And when your name is up there with Marshall Faulk, all-purpose running, catching, scoring, doing everything, and Roger Craig, don't tell me that running backs are passé. Shut up. But no, I'm going to take Mr. Purdy for my MVP. Great for him that he spreads it around and says, my teammate, give it to my teammate. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is my MVP. People can talk about Dak. They can talk about this quarterback. They can talk about that quarterback. Purdy. What's Purdy done? I know he had a 3-game losing streak, but McCaffrey had that too.
That's right.
Purdy is my MVP right now, today.
Yeah. I don't vote, but if I did vote, I think I would vote for Purdy as well. All of last year and most of this year, I was on Jalen Hurts. He's sort of fizzling lately. I might look at Dak Prescott, but that's not a vote I'd make after yesterday.
After yesterday,
As you say, Purdy had a 3-game bad streak, but that was a while back. He leads all quarterbacks in rating at 119. He has the most touchdown passes in the league, 29. He has the most yards per attempt. He's second to Tua in pass completion percentage and total passing yards. But I would tell you, Mike, that San Francisco has played a much tougher schedule than Miami to this point. You know me well enough to know that I love running backs, but I am seduced by quarterbacks. I'm not going to knock running backs. I may overvalue quarterbacks. That's possible. But, Mike, I'm in line with the rest of the league. I believe Adrian Peterson is the last running back to get it in 2012, and before that it was 2006. And I do like McCaffrey to this degree. Mike, what a stupid trade by Carolina.
Well,
equal to their stupidity in trading DJ Moore.
Yeah.
That's why they stink, because they don't know what they're doing.
They made some tough trades, Tony. But listen, let's give Shanahan the big double thumbs up.
Oh,
for knowing a weapon, knowing what he's going to do with them, not caring what the rest of the stupid league thinks. Huh? What? People better open their eyes.
4 offensive players who
baby.
can score from anywhere on the field on any play. He's got 4 of them. Let's take a break. Coming up, did the Chiefs make a convincing case that they're back on track?
Did the Lions or the Bengals post a bigger win Saturday?
By the way, do you know Christmas Day, I believe, it's Ravens at 49ers? You going to watch that? I'm going to watch that.
No.
Purdy and Jackson, what are you going to be doing?
Working, entertaining the masses on ABC.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Pardon the Interruption, presented by Grey Goose, part of Happy Hour.
For several weeks, so you go, okay, I'll take their defense, but the team isn't. The team is as close to choosing first overall.
I think the Chiefs' problem on offense is Matt Nagy, and
no competition. The Lions can do what they do. They're in, fine. The Bengals are in a dogfight, both in their division and for a wild card, if they can do that. I mean, I know Pittsburgh is sort of floundering, but they're still there. Obviously, Baltimore is. Cleveland gets away with one yesterday. So the answer is the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm glad that we reached this point in the show where I can sincerely disagree. I think the more significant win was the Lions for this reason. They were sort of tumbling. They'd lost 2 out of 3, and they'd lost 2 out of 3 in division. They needed a big comeback. They got it. I believe they won 42-17. We may have thought that Denver had turned it around and was a good team. They're not a good team. Where I will agree with you is that I think the most significant development in the entire league is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
When Joe Burrow went out, a lot of us, including me, said they have no chance. So wherever they got Jake Browning from, they ought to erect a historical marker at that point. He's 3-1 with this team. They were down 17-3 in this particular game. And I'll tell you, and I know you didn't watch the game because I told you about this the other day. I think the touchdown by T. Higgins is the single greatest play I saw all year. What he did with his body and move the ball over the pylon.
It was great play. Great.
The best play I've seen, and why Minnesota ran that kid Mullen into the line twice in a row where he just lost yardage. What are you doing?
They're not any
right?
good.
What are you
That's
doing?
why Detroit can limp to the finish now. There's no resistance from the 3 teams in the division. None.
Yeah, but they needed a win. They were going the other way, Mike. And their history indicates if they don't get the win, they're back. They're back in the dumpster where they've been for 60 years. Enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Bears came so close to making Wilbon happy. And then
what are you talking about? They made me happy. I'm happy.
Well.
And will a change of defensive play callers get the Eagles back to their winning ways tonight? I don't need a win to go 5-6-9 or 6-8 and people phonily say they're going to make the playoffs. I don't need that. I want a draft pick. The higher.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Grey Goose. Vive la vodka. Please sip responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 26th birthday, Ronald Acuna Jr. The Braves outfielder won the National League MVP this season over a crowded field of outstanding hitters, including Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Matt Olson. Acuna led all of baseball in hits, runs, stolen bases, and on-base percentage. He became the first person ever to top 40 home runs and 70 stolen bases in the same season, going 41-73. Acuna led the NL in OPS at 1.012, second in batting at 337, and he scored 149 different times. He was Rookie of the Year in 2018. He's gotten better over time. Acuna is signed through 2026, but with the Braves holding club options the following 2 years, he would not become a free agent until 2029.
Tony, that's a big boy season. That's not some phony baloney, overly praised season by, analytics-obsessed baseball writers, which is what they now often do with Cy Young. That is a historically great season Acuna just had.
149 runs. That's really something. Happy anniversary, James Harden. Around this day 5 years ago, Harden, playing for one of the many teams he later became disenchanted with, pulled off the rare attempt of a step-back 3 in which he actually took 3 steps
Look at this.
without dribbling.
Like
He was
4.
inside the three-point line. He wanted to be outside the three-point line, so he just stepped back of his own free will. And nobody called it on him. I mean, seriously, if the refs don't call
That's
walking
4
on this,
steps.
what will they call it on? Watch this again. Count his steps.
4.
In the NBA, there
1,
is no
2,
walking.
3,
There are drop
4,
steps,
maybe 5.
crab steps. There are Euro steps. You can take as many as you want. A ref has to hate you personally to call walking.
That was so aggressive, comical. I mean, that's the instructional video for anybody who wants to referee from biddy ball on up. Don't let anybody do this, or we'll kick you out of our league. That's what it should be.
It's unbelievable. When I saw it, I went, "You're kidding, right? You're kidding."
By
Happy
the way,
trails to a win for the Bears. Go
Clippers
ahead.
have won 7 straight, Tony. The Beard, and the boys, they're getting it together out there. Just saying.
All right. Happy trails to a win for the Bears. Your Bears literally dropped their 3rd game this season when they held a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
This time they were up 17-7 on Cleveland, and they let 85-year-old Joe Flacco throw for 212 yards in the 4th quarter alone, including a 51-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper that tied the game at 17. The Browns then went ahead on a 34-yard field goal with 32 seconds left. The Bears had a last chance on a Hail Mary. Justin Fields got it to the end zone, where it was batted down into the hands of Bears wide receiver
Hands and
Darnell
chest.
Mooney, laying on his back. Mooney could not hold
Love
on.
Mooney.
The ball deflected into the air where DeAnthony Bell intercepted it. How do you feel about that?
Better than winning the game. Well, I'm serious. So we catch a Hail Mary pass, and that's supposed to be worth moving down in the draft 2, 3, 4 spots it could wind up leading to? No, that win is not going to mean anything when we hope the Bears are good this time next season and beyond. So no, there's no maybe happy trails. There's nothing like that. After the initial anger of him not holding on to it and wanted to win the game in the moment, you go, no, we don't need this. Think.
How about Cleveland being 9-5? Cleveland wins games by 1, 2, and 3 points.
Defense, Tony, they got a great defense.
And how about Joe Flacco? He's 38. He didn't play last year, right?
Should have been 4 picks.
3 picks, but he won the game at the end.
Yeah.
You know, he won the game at the end. I mean, they're on their 3rd or 4th quarterback now.
Yeah, they are. Good for them.
They're
Defense.
very impressive.
Like Baltimore,
They're
they got a
very
great
impressive.
defense. Same division.
All right. We're running out of show. We go to the big finish.
Let's
Bernard
do it.
Longer and his son won the PNC, and Tiger and Charlie finished 5th. Which is the bigger deal?
Bernard Longer, period. And his son, fine. More worldwide wins than people know over a longer stretch of time. He's 66 years old. He can still go out there and beat you. And no, the Longers. Let's give them some credit. Tiger, we always give credit. And Charlie, good for them. Baker Mayfield had a perfect passer rating and a win over the Packers. Are you impressed with that?
I am. It's on the road. Yeah, I mean, he's having a good year. They're having a good year. They're in first place, a bad division, but they're in first place. Give them a little bit of credit. The Carolina Panthers finally won, beating the Falcons. I'm sure you're disappointed.
Angry. I don't want to see Carolina winning. We've got their pick. It's still overall number 1. We're still in that slot. We got the Cardinals and the Patriots gaining, and I'm nervous. Eagles, Seahawks tonight. You smelling a 3rd straight loss for Philly?
No, they need to win, and they will win. Last one, will the Pistons snap their 23-game losing streak tonight at the Hawks?
No. And they're by themselves now, Tone. The Spurs finally won to beat the Lakers Friday, but then subsequently lost. Pistons, I'm afraid it may last a while.
Every day, the Pistons. Every day. We're out of time. Trying to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get us on the ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, Apple everything. But now, your Sportscenter.
It's like the chicken every night.